Welcome back to Annie Mondays. What's up, everyone? I'm the JJ.
I'm MetaMark.
And this is Futurama Part 2. Adam couldn't join us this time.
Pazuzu!
So we got Pazuzu! 1999 is the year. Kick this.
Wow. Yeah, this show's been
How
going on a
old?
long time.
I feel like I'm 50!
We have the Futurama sign, and then the ship hits the little TV, and everything goes static. And then just right before that, when it says Futurama, and then it has like the
little ticks.
the little tidbit that they have.
I love those.
Oh, it's so nice.
That's a little thing that the series takes and just, once again, it adds little things that don't need to be there, but that, between that and the TV switching every episode is similar to The Simpsons, how The Simpsons, that might just be a Matt Groening trait, similar to how The Simpsons just has the, Lisa's saxophone changes,
yes.
Bart's writing a different thing on the board, it's just...
it's the chalkboard, no, that's exactly the right scene. It's
starting, we'll jump right into it, going to episode 8. Professor Farnsworth sets up the scientist symposium. Mm-hmm. You get to meet the intro to Wernstrom, his nemesis.
Wernstrom. It's like the Dinkelberg of Futurama.
yeah.
I love Wernstrom's little ponytail thing he's got going on in the back. I think that's just fantastic.
One of my favorite things about this show...
Farnsworth.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. One of my favorite things about this show is how he's literally, appearance-wise, elderly.
Yeah.
But because he's the least elderly person...
Yeah, he's just youngest by like a year, so he's only 100 when everyone else is 102.
And they treat him like an up-and-coming scientist.
He's got that teen angst going on for him.
We get the occasional sympathy for Farnsworth, which it's fun to think about. Like, you don't normally play up him because he's if we've said it once, we've said it 1,000 times, the man's fucking criminally insane.
But he's a genius, and we view
him as... He's also related
like,
to our main character, which I think a lot
we
of
view him as that wacky grandpa, crazy character that just has the inventions that help the plot continue. So basically, he's a good character for that aspect, but yeah, you get the sympathy for him because we know he's a crazy scientist, we know he's a wacko, but when you see him go into the scientific community and he's just completely disregarded by everybody,
the entire
the guy made a doomsday device, you should listen to him.
That's what's so fun, is the entire scientific community is batshit insane.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Like, down to fucking Wernstrom, who's swearing revenge because he got an A-. That's the entire drive of this entire hatred.
And you know, usually at a collegiate level, they don't even put the pluses or minuses in. It's...
that's actually discussed, not that they actually flat out say it's because of that, but Farnsworth says later, I have no idea how to teach. During the symposium, he basically gets booed out of the building.
Yeah.
And he goes home because he made a death clock where it teaches you death clock.
Yes, my balls are so good.
No, basically he makes a death clock, and with the death clock it tells you when you're gonna die, obviously. They laugh him off stage. You made this last year, it didn't work, blah blah blah, haha. So he quickly tries to draw the schematic on a napkin for a smelloscope.
Yes.
To which they also laugh him out of the building. And then the best line ever, it's just literally, well, I was gonna go build...
stunk. Smelled?
Farnsworth, he realizes he made the scope last year. Which I think is one of my favorite jokes of this episode. It's like, I went to build the scope and then realized I made it last year.
And he just forgets that, and he goes, I've already made the greatest invention. It's over there in my attic.
It's also so much to his character, because a lot of these characters evolve over time. Zoidberg is infinitely more hated as the show goes on. Hermes is infinitely more bureaucratic.
He's the Meg of this show.
You really... Oh, yeah, absolutely. Like, he's the lightning rod, yeah.
Why not Zoidberg?
I don't know. And then you also get that followed up by the Urectum joke.
Uranus? Oh, we changed...
Hey, can I use that to smell Uranus? Fry, it doesn't translate anymore.
We've changed the name of the planet to avoid such silly jokes as like that.
It's now known as Urectum. That's the Matt Groening. It's the fat layer of stupid. Yeah. With just the nice layer of intelligent over it.
No, exactly. If you're a sci-fi fan, and I don't mean an animation fan, I don't mean just a run-of-the-mill, I watch a couple sci-fi movie fans, you have to be a fan of the entire spectrum of the art in order to understand every single subtle joke. Star Trek, I could go for days.
Major one.
You got Star Trek, you got Doctor Who references in there.
Yeah.
You've got Back to the Future references in there. You've got Simpsons references in there. You got Family Guy references in there.
Well, that's the thing, I don't know if it's necessarily... It is a lot of sci-fi, very obviously.
Yeah.
Just look at the setting. But the show is very ingrained with nerd culture in general. This episode, basically from the smelloscope...
No, Barbados Slim is the best character. He's always taking her...
Barbados!
What kind of wife just allows Barbados to do whatever the fuck he wants?
This whole episode it goes from being just like a smell scope thing, because that's really more of a MacGuffin just to move the plot. Where the actual plot is the garbage that we have amassed in our time here. As a people is plummeting towards us because our fucking genius idea to get rid of that instead of landfills. Oh no,
we sent it out to sea.
The line was our landfills were all fill. No landfill could hold any more, even New Jersey.
Even New Jersey. Now, coming from New Jersey, yeah, we're almost out of room, guys. Yeah. And we gotta do something about this. Recycle, you know. Do something. Send it out into space. I'd like 1,000 years from now that to be the plot.
This isn't a set. This is just garbage. We need help. Yeah, this episode turns into a really clever message about the environment.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But it's really underhanded because as I said, the MacGuffin is literally this whole plot line with Farnsworth being accepted. But the underlining thing is just to not shoehorn in a negative way, to shoehorn it in as
absolutely.
like, yo, fuck you guys.
You have the whole plot of, you know, he needs to be accepted in the scientific community and amongst his peers too, like, you know, where he works with at, oh my gosh. Planet Express. Oh my god, I almost called it like, you know, Orbital Express. I mean, yeah, he's trying to be accepted amongst his peers, and on top of that, it was a great way to subtly put it in. And we all know, and like, yeah, it's in your face, there's literally a giant ball of garbage hurtling towards Earth, we get it. But it just... you know, it makes you more aware. The mistakes that you make in the past are going to come and bite you in the future.
We tried subtlety, and that didn't necessarily work out, so...
Yeah, I mean...
And your face might be the only way people might get the message at this point.
At this point, it's just like, you know, and it's not a global warming thing. I think they have an episode about
that, where they drop a giant ice cube in the ocean. It's funny, because I think this is a multi-message episode, where it's the environment, it's don't underestimate people due to their age.
Absolutely,
Farnsworth is
absolutely
being,
great.
You want to be...
I didn't even notice that.
You want to be accepted into your community, aside from the age issue. And also, it's also times change. Fry in the Sandwich shows that in this episode really well.
Yeah.
Where it's
such a good episode.
100% of sandwiches are recycled. Why are you bitching? And it's just the future's disgusting. They go onto the garbage ball. These are just some really fun things that I liked and I noticed. We see a Spock collector's plate.
Well, that's a hint in a future episode when Star Trek is banned and they have to get rid of everything.
More importantly, they're just making references to the 90s, which I personally love.
Yeah, the 90s, and they're calling the 90s trash.
Beanie
just so
Babies.
You know.
Oh, absolutely. Beanie Babies were there.
Belong in the garbage.
And a collection of Bart Simpson dolls. Which I thought was just
tip of the hat. Yeah,
I
had so many Beanie Babies.
They make another garbage ball, which is just the most ingenious way to stop that.
Yeah.
To stop our garbage problem, let's create another future garbage problem. But that's not our problem. That's their problem.
Looking at you, baby boomers.
Moving on to episode 9. Bender vends beer and popcorn, and his comedy is just evolved so much. Goes from being, once again, his comedy shtick changes so much from being like, I'm a robot and I can vend popcorn because I'm a machine and I can also do this and beer. And like, while that's clever, it's not necessarily laugh out loud funny. But they realize where the gold is here because him being an asshole becomes the main MO later.
He's a Swiss Army knife of assholes.
Right, but I'm saying they focus more so on the asshole and less on the Swiss Army later, which is probably a better choice.
Because we already know he can do whatever he wants, and
the joke gets old. Yeah, peer pressure is a major thing in this episode. Fender forces Bender. Yeah, because it's Fender of all people.
This is when we see Fender. Yeah,
which is literally just a stack of amps. Yeah. Fender amps. Yeah. He just comes up to Bender and it's just literally, hey, you gotta jack on, buddy. So he teaches him the idea of jacking on. Oh, and Bender, don't worry. I don't have an addictive personality.
Well, to be fair, the robot's fuel is booze.
But it's shown multiple times he chooses booze rather than mineral water. Or mineral oil. It's even in this group of episodes.
Oh,
when he goes clean.
Oh, yeah.
It's funny because they showed a thing where he's like pouring half Jägermeister, half Pennzoil.
You know, if I were a robot, that would sound pretty good.
Interesting to see this be handled well by a comedy, though, because peer pressure is a very sensitive topic.
Yeah.
And they don't really undercut it. They really... Yes, there's a lot of comedy, and I actually kind of missed...
There's a lot of comedy.
I missed how dark this episode actually was the first few times I watched it.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe it comes with age, maybe it comes with how many times you've actually watched it, but there's a point where, like, you just see him hit his absolute low by going on top of a church to jack in.
Yeah.
And then he's looking down at the meeting, and it's just like a... Oh, God. Like, you've hit bottom. I really think that this held on to a principle that I believe it was George Carlin said, and it's if you can get someone laughing and then while they're laughing, stick them with an important point, which is Carlin's
They'll
entire
remember
MO.
the point.
They remember it so much more because you've disarmed them.
And it doesn't completely shatter their thoughts of existence.
Yeah, and you also don't seem so confrontational in that case.
Yeah, George Carlin, awesome.
Genius idea, and this follows that principle. It's also funny to see how addicts replace their addiction with other things. Bender, in this case, is religion.
Yeah.
He completely changes his personality, becomes a different person altogether.
We've already seen Bender is suicidal in the suicide booth. We've already seen that he is anger, that he gets rage, that he's sarcastic, facetious. And
takes it out on other people.
Selfishness. He is the epitome of human error. And it just goes to show his nature is, of course, human as well. He needs to have some sort of belonging and group.
It's interesting how human. Yeah, I like that point. It's interesting to see how human of a character Bender is. Bender takes his friends to dinner, and winds up hugging Fry for way too long. In just a moment, was just Fry, you're my best friend.
You're my best friend.
You just see the pure horror on Fry's face. I really like the message of like, if you're replacing a major part of what your life is, whether it be positive or negative, you're changing who you are, and you have to be aware of that. Even if it is a major negative, and you might have to get rid of your friend group because that doesn't correlate with who you want to be and who you hang out with. They're probably going to butt heads.
Yeah, they go hand in hand with one another.
So yeah, he takes off the religious piece, and that notifies the robot devil.
Yeah. Oh my god, this is our first appearance with the robot devil.
This is the first time we meet the robot devil. I think the robot devil might actually be my personal favorite character.
I got the stabby robot.
Oh yeah, Roberto. What are you gonna do?
Great character. Or the clamps.
Why don't you hold this for a second?
Why don't you hold this for a second?
Big bags of money. Fuck. Trapped Forever in Robot Hell is just without a doubt one of my favorite musical numbers ever done on a television show.
Yeah,
I think absolutely. I started quoting it to Adam when we were watching it. It's just, cigars are evil, you won't miss them. It's just everything about that swing-style song.
And it just goes to show time and time again how the writers of the show can incorporate any sort of media into their show. They can do musicals, they can do sci-fi, they can do action, they can do adventure. Video games is a great episode.
Animation. Every kind of animation, really. They do a Steamboat Mickey-style one later.
Didn't they do an ad? Remember when they had they had the multiple universe boxes that they jumped through?
Yeah.
And then every universe,
This entire musical number is just a musical number dedicated to how big of a piece of shit Bender is.
And he needs that magnus opus.
That's true. The one line in it that really makes me laugh every time is it's like, I can't be the worst out there. We've looked again. You really are.
We double checked.
We're like, we double fucking checked. You are the worst in the world. I also love that I didn't even write this down, but I just love that it's literally like in a theme park. Robot Hell is just a tangible place in this world.
Yeah, it's like what? It's not even a mile underneath.
Because we created them. It's not like it has to be this weird sentient thing.
Yeah, because they're factual, they're tangible, they're logical. Of course, they're Robot Hell. You can actually find it.
And they also do the Charlie Daniels Golden Fiddle. Because it's contractually obligated. I love that.
Yeah, any sort of devil involved, a deal needs to be involved.
And it's just like, so what do we win? You get this Golden Fiddle. That doesn't sound like it would play right. Yeah.
It doesn't. It's really just a showman piece.
It's a show. And then it's also
I'd sell it.
And then the opposite of that is just, okay, so what do we get if we lose? I don't know. You just get like a slightly less intense like bronze fiddle. And also maybe I'll kill you one of you. I don't know. This guy. And Bender winds up saving them all with this beautiful imagery of him as an angel. These metal things grafted to him. You have this bee that's shooting these weird laser discs at him, which rings around his fucking antenna.
What are you talking about?
It just floats up. Which, by the way, the way they beat the devil. This is genius. This is what I mean about just clever genius writing. They beat the devil by not winning the competition and just saying fuck it and beating him to death with the fiddle.
Yeah, just hitting him with the fiddle. Yeah,
it's a solid gold fiddle. From there, we move to episode 10. The crew takes a vacation on the space Titanic. Zap is the ship's captain, which. 10 out of 10. Like, do I even have to continue? This is a good episode. It's funny because Zap wants to christen the space Titanics, so doing so, he grabs Leo DiCaprio's head.
Yeah,
and just tosses it onto the ship and just slides down and dies. Leo died twice on a Titanic, apparently.
And you want to know what, like, and this is why we love Zap Brannigan, he's going to give us the plot. He's going to move it forward because of his stupidity. Like when Kif is talking to him about the route that they want to take, and he's just like, "See, and you just see a bunch of stars and asteroids, planet. There's nothing in the road in between. It's just a perfect straight back and forth path." And Brannigan's just like, "What's our path, Kif?" And he's just like, "I was like, well, we just have to go here and back, Captain." And he goes, "I have a better idea." And he just squiggles all over the map and says, "That's the direction we're doing."
But he does it out of jealousy. The rooms when they're going down the elevator in this Space Titanic, it's just a really good stab at the class system.
Oh yeah.
Because you have Farnsworth and Hermes, and then up here,
exactly.
They're up here, and it's just literally, oh, this is lovely. I love this. Oh, this is not where you guys are staying. You guys are in the Fiesta deck, and they go below, and it's just like literally like the laundromat. The laundry room, the fucking boiler room, and then Fiesta deck.
Yeah, it's just like a refugee story.
It's horrible. I also want to bring up that this is an interesting episode because it does a love triangle in a way that I haven't seen it done before.
Okay.
Whereas it's not an actual love triangle, but because they're doing a fake love triangle, it turns into a real love triangle. Sort of. While Leela, Fry, and Amy are all faking it. Amy is pretending to be Fry's girlfriend because her parents, Leela because of Zap, and they have to continuously go back and forth, which sucks them into this
and Amy start having a connection.
The end of this episode. You know what's funny? Do you remember who got... Amy's parents get them together. I totally didn't remember that until I watched this. You have Fry and Leela, who are the entire series, will they, won't they, but you also have Fry and Amy, who have a lot to do later.
And then you have
fan fiction, and then you have fan fiction with Amy and Leela.
Oh, you got shipping. Oh, so much shipping. Later on in seasons, you get, a Bender relationship with that girl.
One in this.
And then Flexo.
You actually get one in this, surprisingly so, because they do the parody of Titanic. He falls in love with the Duchess.
The Duchess! Yes, he does. All My Circuits.
One of the best fake TV programs ever made.
I would watch that. Other than Hypnotoad, it's the best show out there.
Hypnotoad's the best thing ever. That leads us to a great scene at dinner where all the parties are present and you have the love triangle becoming a major problem in the episode where Zap is sitting there.
What is originally supposed to dodge the overall issue now becomes
way
friction.
Worse.
Yeah.
Way worse.
So that's, classic writing.
Oh, that's classic writing. I'm saying the fact that this all winds up leading to them actually, all of them having relationships, I think that's clever setup.
Including Zap?
No, not including Zap.
No, nothing ever good happens for Zap, but he'll always get a medal for it.
He literally does this thing where he Bender pulls him aside and he's like, hey Fry, I'm gonna go save the Duchess. And he's like, I got you, bro, I got you. I'll tell them that you died. If you get left behind, I'll tell them you died robbing an old man. What the fuck?
And he'll just be like, thanks, buddy.
Thanks, bro. Yeah, like, okay. And that's funny, because we mentioned it. Amy's parents actually set her up with Zap's first mate, Kif, which sticks for this series. On episode 11, because that's pretty much how that one ended. Farnsworth tells the group to deliver a box to Mars University. This is actually where we showed up here. The Mars Library, which is just, this is the best stab as far as, and they're right. This is what scares me. They predicted this accurately. You want to go to the Mars Library? They open the door, it's 2 CDs. Disc 1, Disc 2. Empty room.
It's because there's not a lot of Mars
How accurate is that becoming in today's society?
Yeah.
That is a good call on there. And this was 99.
Yeah.
Bender returns to his old frat house and pulls an Animal House, which is pretty much this entire...
Robot house!
Fucking amazing.
Wait, we're gonna cut... Robot house!
Please, Fry, I don't know how to teach. I'm a professor. One of the best stabs I've ever seen in this show, which is I've been to community college. I know that's true.
Well, yeah, for community college, I'm in it right now. It's I'm paying so much money. I don't learn a damn thing.
You find the package that Farnsworth specifically told them to send to Mars University. You find out that it's Gunther. Gunther, the monkey with a hat. Why do I relate to him?
The hat makes him smart. Fry's competing with the hat, but he thinks he's competing with the monkey.
Which I thought was that's word
Why
for
didn't
word.
Fry just put on the hat?
Yeah, that's
Did we
true.
not think about that? Why didn't Fry just put on the hat, and then you just leave him like that for the rest of the character?
Holy shit.
That way he could be a bipolar character.
Is there another episode later where Fry gets really intelligent?
It's when he eats the sandwich with all the fucking worms in it that start just rebuilding.
Yep, and he gets into the internal. That's fuck this show for being so intelligent. This show gets really sort of deep, especially in this episode. It does it frequently, but like very, very sporadically. You don't expect when it's coming, and this is one of them that you don't expect because this all spins into Gunther missing his roots, being sad that he's not what he wants to be because
being too above the cut.
He's naturally something, but he's trying to impress his parents and do something else. Parent in this case. Yeah. The financial aid building is old, torn apart, and shitty on campus.
Yeah.
Financial aid building, and it's just falling apart and goats eating the side of it. It's just like the shittiest.
Oh, you mean the deteriorating ability to help our students get into school?
Wow. Shit just got real.
Talking about how professors aren't good. This is really an anti-college.
This was a really no. In general, this was just a fuck people episode because the next thing I have right here is jungles on Earth.
This is really just an ode to what capitalism can do.
They said, "Hey, we have this stupid layer covered with Animal House. We got to put like fucking 18 principles above that."
They've covered deforestation of Earth. They've covered financial institutions not being able to do enough for young people growing up. They're going to have so much more debt now. They covered just, you know...
They covered the hiring of the Fox president, who turns out to be a monkey.
Yeah, and this show, and you know... I never thought I'd say
it aired on Fox in case you didn't know.
Bless Fox! Good on you, Fox, for letting somebody actually make a joke about you.
3 stabs at Fox in the first few minutes of this next episode, episode 12, and they're just on fucking fire, like bit after bit. The crew on the beach interact, and they interact in really clever ways, like Zoidberg playing volleyball. They're just really well done. Another really good point that I loved is the slaughtered pacifists in the Gandhi Nebula. That's Zap's introduction.
Yeah,
he's getting called on, and like he's getting basically appointed a position, and it's like that's what they start with. He slaughtered a peaceful pacifist race.
Kip goes from being a vocal hater to just groaning. We were talking about it earlier. At first, he starts off just saying, "Oh, the fat ass," or "Oh, this idiot wants to speak to you." And then he gives up. He's just dead. He's realized that he is forever going to be the schmuck at Zap Brannigan's side. Another great thing about the show was they made a lot of references to Independence Day. It was a really good episode about trying to, alien takeover race and everything like that. President animated of the world kind of looked exactly like the president from Independence Day. Bring me McNeil! And then you had the ships coming over on the beach when they're getting invaded, obviously. You get that White House explosion that everybody wants, and that was the coup d'etat of Independence Day.
Especially the trailer.
Oh yeah, no, who didn't want to go see that fucking movie, man? But and again, tips at Sci-Fi. This is it. And then they had all the other ones, and then just for reiteration's purposes, they kept crushing Fry's sandcastle. Those bastards. That kid worked so hard on that shit.
You also really brought up a good point. Why do those like professional beach bullies not exist? We've really sucked Futurama's dick in this episode, which it's warranted. It's warranted.
Somebody needs to milk that cow.
I do have to bring up when things are lame. This entire episode is based on the caveat that this is all happening because of a really stupid and lame misunderstanding. The fact that Lur is consistently going, McNeil, which coincidentally just happens to be the president.
Dies. Don't show us the single female lawyer as the opening for the episode, because we're gonna
have it be an actual twist.
We know he's talking about McNeil.
Yes.
Like, show us Fry canceling it, whatever. Don't show Lure and his wife watching it and it getting canceled and they go in a rage, because then we know what the whole plot's about.
Yeah.
Give us a little M. Night Shyamalan twist to it, why don't you?
Weird structure is really what we're...
Please don't let him touch his hands on any of them.
Coming this summer, Futurama.
Or is it?
By animation. It turns out to be Simpsons. That son of a bitch! This perfectly explains this episode why networks pander to audiences. The last little wrap-up that they're having with Lur and Fry, and it's just
it's like demographics don't...
They don't want anything original.
They want to see something they've seen 1,000 times over and over.
And they don't want to see things that aren't like that, because then they'll get scared, and it's just...
And then Lur comes right onto the TV and says, like, exactly what they wanted. It's just convinced. I'm confused and I'm scared and I want her to be single again. I don't want any of this closure.
I'm really convinced that was just the studio notes that he actually included into the writing.
Yeah.
Where he wrote it, he submitted it, the studio sent it back, fixed this, and this, and he's just like, okay, I'll include that, but it's not going to be where you think it's going to be, motherfucker. The last thing that I really wrote down for this episode is this is an accurate jab at fandoms.
Hell yes!
Lur almost destroys a planet. Tell me if you've heard this one, by the way. Stop me if you've heard this. Lur almost destroys a planet to get a show that he really loves back. Like, really loves.
Oh, you're talking about Community?
Pretty much. And when it comes back, everyone, this is a C+ show at best. Yeah. Episode 13, Fry, this is my personal favorite, by the way, just before we start this. From a young age, this one always really tickled me, because I personally really love Willy Wonka.
Oh, the Slurm Factory.
The Slurm Factory.
Oh.
Fry, like Charlie from Willy Wonka, searches for a golden bottle cap, and
with the F beam.
well, that's the thing. It doesn't happen yet. It starts as just a random thing, and you're like, okay, so that's the plot. Then Bender's heating thing malfunctions, which is a great B plot, which doesn't happen for more than the first half of this season.
And it's because he steals shit and he puts it in his mouth. That's why you see in later episodes he'll just start putting it in his little compartment.
That's
because when he swallows Amy's watch, it hits some other device and it overheats it.
Good. Yeah. Bender and Fry then get the F-ray from that scenario, so the B story winds up colliding into the A story in a really clever way, where they go and use it to cheat to find the golden bottle cap.
Ow, my sperm!
It only hurt once.
Oh, it doesn't hurt as much as the first time.
So should he be disappearing now?
Yeah, because he's supposed to be his own grandfather, which we'll cover in another day.
I think that this is a really clever way to do this, the two colliding, because Fry, ironically, winds up choking on it, not using the F-ray, because he has, like, the
one can. And he says, and this goes into addiction again. He goes, I never want to see another can of Slurm as long as I live. After searching 90,000, 900,000 cans, goes to the fridge, opens up, starts choking on the thing. And... you know,
irony!
Slurms McKenzie!
Slurms McKenzie, who's obviously not only just a parody of Spuds McKenzie, the
such
Budweiser
a kindred
dog,
spirit.
Budweiser dog, if I'm
yeah.
I believe. But yeah, it's the joke on that, which once again equating it to alcohol. But I think it's also a really good reference to celebrities always being on.
I just talked about soda being an addiction, and I just drank it.
I also think it's a really good reference to celebrities constantly having to be on for the camera.
Never breaking kayfabe.
That's the thing. Slurms is miserable, and honestly, a lot of celebrities like Britney Spears, Lindsay Lohan, that are the targets of a generation.
You would think somebody would get themselves out of a career like that if they wanted to, but it goes on to workaholics too. I mean, you need that money. You need to survive. I personally love the Grunkalunkas, and I don't normally try to put in personal loves. I've done it a lot in Futurama. That'll show you how attached to the show I am. The Grunkalunkas, I love it. They flat out point logic. They point logic in the face of something that doesn't have logic. Whereas Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, it's like, these are slaves. Like, I don't care what you're trying to say. That's my point. To Hermes. Yeah, that's my point. Is he flat out admits where I've always thought in Willy Wonka. They're practically slaves. They think they have a good union, but they don't. But you pointed it out. The Soylent Green reference. It made a Soylent Green reference. Okay, so when Leela was talking about the soda, it's just like, oh, Leela, you're never going to guess what they put in the Slurm, blah, blah, blah. He's just like, what did they put, like people in it or something? And she goes, no, we already have a soda company that does that. It's called Soylent Cola. And for a lot of people, that'll go over your head. Soylent Green is made That's for all the 50-year-olds that watch us. So basically, Fry actively makes the Earth a worse place by letting Slurm Cola exist. It's just like, sorry, Grandpa here is a little bit crazy. I'm not your grandpa, you're my uncle, and you're 1,000 years older than me! So that was Anna Mondays. Thank you for joining us this week. We'll see you next week. If you click the description below, you'll see what we're doing. Like and subscribe. I'm the JJ. I'm Meta Mark. And we'll see you next week. Adios. Bilingual.